There's someone on your mind right now. Maybe it's someone you haven't spoken to in months. Maybe it's someone you see every single day and pretend not to notice. Maybe it's someone who said one thing, one time, and somehow that thing is still living rent-free in your head 6 weeks later. And you've probably told yourself some version of the same story. You're being obsessive. You're reading too much into it. You just need to move on. But here's what nobody tells you. The fact that you can't stop thinking about someone is not a character flaw. It's information. And once you understand what your brain is actually doing, you'll never feel the same shame about it again. Your brain does not replay things randomly. It is not a jukebox shuffling memory without reason. Every time a thought surfaces, especially a recurring one, it's because your mind has flagged something as unresolved. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect, named after Soviet psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik, who discovered in the 1920s that the human brain holds on to incomplete things far more tightly than finished ones. Waiters remembered every detail of an unpaid order. The moment the bill was settled, the details dissolved. Your brain works exactly the same way. Someone who keeps surfacing in your thoughts is an open tab. Not because you're obsessive, because your brain is doing precisely what it was designed to do. Hold the unfinished business until you deal with it. But what counts as unfinished? That's where it gets uncomfortable. Because it's almost never what you think. Sometimes the reason is simple. Something was left unsaid. A conversation ended before it should have. There's a version of events that never got to happen. And your brain keeps running the simulation because it genuinely doesn't know how to file it as complete. That's not obsession. That's your mind being more honest than your mouth was willing to be. But sometimes, and this is the part most people skip straight past, the person isn't actually the point. They're a mirror. Something about them activated something in you. A wound that was already there. A version of yourself you haven't fully faced. A need you've been quietly pretending you don't have. The person themselves can become almost incidental. What your brain keeps circling is the feeling they produced, not the person who produced it. Longing, rejection, the terrifying possibility of being truly known by someone, or the equally terrifying realization that you almost let yourself want something and then pulled back before it could hurt you. These feelings don't disappear when the person leaves your life. They wait, and they attach themselves to whoever helped surface them first. There's also something happening neurologically that's worth understanding. When you experience a strong emotional charge around someone, even an almost connection, a near miss, your brain releases dopamine, the same system that drives hunger and habit. And here's what most people don't know. Dopamine doesn't fire hardest when you get something. It fires hardest in anticipation of something uncertain. The person you can't stop thinking about is probably someone whose response to you was never quite predictable. Someone who made you feel seen one day and invisible the next. Inconsistency is not proof that something was profound. It's proof that your brain got hooked. The same variable reward loop that makes you check your phone every 11 minutes is the exact mechanism keeping this person front of mind. That's not romantic. It's neurological. And naming it that way isn't cynical. It's clarifying. None of this means the feelings aren't real. They are. The ache is real. The replaying of a specific conversation, word for word, expression by expression, is real. The way your chest still does something strange when you hear a certain song, real. But what those feelings are pointing toward isn't always where you think it is. Here's the question that actually matters. What does this person represent to you? Not who they are. what they represent: safety, validation, a future you briefly glimpsed and then lost, proof that you're capable of feeling something this deeply. Because once you name that, once you identify what's underneath the person, you stop being haunted and start being informed. The thought stops being a loop. It becomes a door. Most people's instinct when they notice the thought is to fight it, to force themselves to think about something else, stay busy, convince themselves they're being ridiculous. But suppression is not processing. Every time you push the thought down, it builds pressure. Every time you look directly at what it's actually showing you, not at the person, but at the feeling, it loosens its grip. Not all at once, just enough to breathe. People who can't stop thinking about someone are not people who feel too much.
They're people who are being shown something about themselves that ordinary life doesn't surface. The mind does not fixate on the irrelevant, it fixates on the important. And sometimes the most important thing isn't the other person at all. It's the part of you that came alive around them, the part you've been quietly starving, the part that knows exactly what it needs and has been waiting for you to finally listen. The thought keeps coming back because something hasn't been acknowledged yet, not necessarily by them, by you. So the next time this person surfaces, in the middle of a meeting at 2 a.m., in the quiet between one thing and the next, don't push it away. Don't apologize to yourself for it. Ask the question instead. What is this actually about? What am I really missing? What did this person help me feel that I'm not letting myself feel anywhere else? The answer is already in there. It always has been. If this landed somewhere real, the next video goes even further.